Hey, it's John Nemo with Nemo Media Group. So glad you're here. I'm on our website right now. I'm going to go to my favorite place in the world, which is our testimonials. I love spending time on here, looking through, the great results we've gotten for clients. And when it comes to franchise consultants, we've had so much success with several different franchise consultants. A great example is Bob Bernatus. He's done well into the high six figures in sales from leads that we've generated for him on LinkedIn. Another great example of kind of the quick win nature and also the long game is Wes Barefoot, where within a couple of weeks of starting with us, he got a $96,000 deal done. And then he's worked with us for multiple years. And another one of his sales came 2 years after we started chasing a particular prospect. And I'm going to explain that more. But as you know, as a franchise consultant, so often it can be the long game. And that's one of the beauties of our process on LinkedIn is we don't lose any leads. Nobody falls through the cracks. The fortune's in the follow-up, and we'll stay with it. And again, you can scroll through these at your leisure. We've got tons and tons of testimonials, including different franchise consultants. In fact, I've even got a full book on this. So if you're interested, if you haven't already, we can get you a free digital copy. I wrote a whole book, LinkedIn Lead Gen for Franchise Consultants, where I'm going to go through specific stories and examples and strategies unique to franchise consultants and what we do. I'll also give fashion advice if you want, right? I'm happy. I'm a complete goofball. So if you work with us, we have a lot of fun. We're dead serious about getting you leads on LinkedIn. I am a big fan of Zubaz pants. So listen, if you're alive in the late 80s, early 90s, you remember Zubaz. They're coming back. But anyway, all that to say, if you want to know more about how to specifically apply this to the franchise consultant world on your own, this book is a great resource, the LinkedIn for Franchise Consultants. Again, you can grab that whenever you like. Now, where I want to start with is with your LinkedIn profile. Really, this is where the magic happens. And what we do, no matter who you are as a client, we really start with trying to figure out what makes you unique. So when we bring you in as a done-for-you client, when we're going to generate leads for you on LinkedIn, we're going to start with your LinkedIn headline. And it's not going to be the typical kind of resume style or kind of spammy or whatever. It's going to be what makes you unique, what makes you different. Have you owned franchises in the past? Do you have experience in the industry? Have you done other things, right? We're going to look, and if you go to Bob Bernatus's, right? So again, we're going to find what makes you unique. So that's a key thing when we create your profile. We're going to interview you and we're going to say, like, well, what have you, what's your experience? How long have you been a franchise consultant? Have you owned franchises? What makes you different? Did you pivot out of a corporate career? Why are you doing this? Bob is a great example where he's literally started in 1986, like with VHS tapes and VHS stores. So we're going to really create, and I'll go through a few client profiles here, but just a real, customized approach to what I do, what makes me unique, right? Here's what separates me from the pack. I've done these different things. Here's what my clients say. If you've got great testimonials, here's my approach. So we can kind of walk through your unique approach. Here's my story, right? I started out in corporate doing all these things. So again, depending on what your situation is, we're going to really fill that out on your profile so people understand, oh, okay, if I'm looking at this particular franchise consultant's profile, here's their story. Here's what makes them different. Here's what they've done. Here's, they grew up in Northwest Indiana, entrepreneur family, right? Started in a family business, did these things, went into corporate world. So we're going to really help people get to know you and like you and trust you. So we start with your LinkedIn profile. We make that very client facing. And then the next thing we do is we typically create some content. And what we're going to do, what we've seen work best with franchise consultants is ebooks, where we're literally going to write and design an ebook written in your voice. And it's going to be, narrative. So I just figured my brother-in-law had too much wine during dinner. Instead, the phrase he blurted out changed my life. Whoa, what's going on here, right? There's a story behind this. And so for each different franchise consultant we've worked with, we're going to talk about your story, your journey, how you got into franchise consulting, what you did, authentic, real photos of you, telling your story, demonstrating expertise, showing people what makes you unique, different, and better. This is a great example where Cindy came to us. One of her things later in life, she decided to take up skydiving. And she's been somebody who constantly is not afraid to try new things and pivoted out of corporate several times. She told us she actually had people with, and we're not here to have you fight with other consultants in your industry, but she told us, I had people switch from other consultants to me who are already, exploring this just because of my ebook, because of my story. What we found is people are going to pick you based on your story, your journey, what you've done as a consultant, where you've been, if you can take them behind the scenes, whatever it might be. It's really powerful, these ebooks, to help. This is a good example of a consultant who was very specialized in Houston. So Houston city skyline, Houston Astros colors, oil and gas, right? We're going to find your story and we're going to tell it really well. And we're going to pair that with your LinkedIn profile. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take your personal profile plus Sales Navigator, and we're going to build all these lists. So we already know who your ideal prospects are. We know where they've been. We know the types of companies they're in. So we can create kind of these pitch perfect lists of, sifting through 1 billion LinkedIn users to find people who should, on paper, be an ideal candidate for franchise ownership. Once we find those people, we're going to use your personal profile and we're going to reach out with one-on-one messaging. The money is really in the mailbox. So once we have your client-facing profile, we've got a great piece of content to share, this ebook. We're going to then build these lists, reach out one-on-one, and then we're going to track every single conversation. So this is a look at a franchise consultant client of ours. Literally, every person that we've interacted with on LinkedIn for this client is tracked here. The name of the person, what message they responded to, what campaign it was from, if it was a live event or an ebook. We're going to go through here. I'll zoom back out. We're basically going to go in and look and see, where did they come from? Did they book a call? Do we have any comments, or did it come from an inbound invite? And then, as you know, the fortune's in the follow-up. So we will continue qualifying and nurturing and engaging people until they read your ebook, right? Because what we know is, if they read a 3,000 to 6,000 word book that's all about you and your journey and your story, and they fit on paper your exact ideal type of prospect, and they've looked at your profile and seen, oh, wow, you work with people just like me. I relate to your story. I like what you've done. Now they're a good candidate. And now we're going to book them onto your calendar for a call. So we're going to do a lot of lead qualifying. And then we help you track every single call. So you're going to be able to say, hey, you know what? They're in a drip campaign, or they closed, or they're on hold, or they filled out a CQ or whatever. We're going to have the follow-ups. You can come in as the client and share your comments. Had a great call. We're working to move them, into this next step. We'll have their phone and their email and their profile. So we track all the leads in a very detailed fashion. Now, we just use Google Sheets, which is great because that will interact. If you have a CRM that you want to plug into, this is very easy to, seamlessly move these people into your CRM or your drip funnels or whatever. It doesn't matter what CRM you have for email, phone, whatever. Google Sheets works with everything. So again, we're going to have all this. We're going to track all the data. We're going to have dashboards and metrics and analytics, because what we found is, what works for you is going to be a unique custom approach with your voice, your content. And then based on how people respond, we can pivot and adjust. If you say, hey, there's a really hot trend right now in this specific industry. I want to target people who just got laid off of this, sector. I want to, target people who just changed jobs and maybe they're, getting downsized, whatever. Like, we can pivot and adjust and really fit to you. The secret sauce behind all of this is you. It's your unique story. It's your journey. It's really, that's how people end up picking a franchise consultant that they're comfortable talking to, is looking at your profile, looking at an ebook, getting to know, like, and trust you, hearing your story, seeing you demonstrate expertise. And then again, we track all the conversations, warm them all up, book them on your calendar, and you take it from there. So the big thing I've seen, people always ask, well, how does it work? Where's your team? All that stuff. So we have an incredible team. We're US based. 15 plus employees and contractors. And I'm talking about, project managers, marketing strategists, content writers, graphic designers. Everything we do is high end and custom. Our team has worked with clients and companies like Uber, Snapchat, AIG, the New York Yankees, Netflix, Martha Stewart, Rolling Stone. Bottom line is, you're not going to get overseas or, VAs or generic. You're getting a US based team of kind of rock stars. And again, we manage everything in a tool called Basecamp. So it's a project management system. You come in here as the client if you have an assistant or a team member. And then our whole team is in here, right? Implementers, project managers, copywriters, marketing strategists. You literally get a small army working for you. You have 4 to 6 people dedicated to you. So you're kind of outsourcing your lead generation, content, branding, marketing, strategy, LinkedIn implementing, appointment booking, lead qualifying. We're doing it all for you. We've got message boards, so we can update and talk to you, to-do lists. We manage all our documents and files in here so we don't miss anything. You obviously can meet with our team live and do Zoom calls and strategize and go through anything you want. And everything is tracked very, very, tightly so that we don't miss any opportunities, because so much of the fortune is in the follow-up. So again, if you want to learn more about this, simply fill out, and I'll actually show you what it looks like so you can see. This is our main Work With Us page. And again, LinkedIn Authority Advantage is our main tool. Can show you all that, all kinds of different things. Oh, the amount of time you save. Trying to do this on your own is insane, right? Our average consultant, this includes franchise consultants, I would say they save 200 plus hours a month. And then obviously, if you calculate all the ROI, you can look at how much you're saving by having us do it for you. And again, because you're doing such high ticket work, and great testimony here from Cindy too about the ebook, getting people to switch to her over other franchise consultants. Because you're doing such high end sales and your commissions are so high, it makes sense to have a done for you partner where we're bringing you the qualified leads, you're closing them, etc. So if you want to learn more, if you want to explore whether or not we're a good fit for you, just simply fill out this quick type form. I'll actually, I'll go to the actual link here. It'll be easier to see. So you'll see a form somewhere associated with this video that looks like this. Just click the start button and just start telling us more about, what you do. Franchise consultant, who do you work with, target audiences. Once you give us an idea of kind of your unique business model, what you're trying to do, your business goals, where you are in the journey, we'll get back to you and we'll basically say to you, yeah, you know what, here's our advice, here's some thoughts, here's some ideas for you, some strategies. Again, a lot of it's going to depend on your situation. So we will kind of custom tailor a plan to you based on what you're trying to do, where you're at in the process. So with all that said, super, super excited. If you want a copy of the book as well, just let us know. If you're ready to kind of explore having us help you, obviously, this is our specialty. We love, love, love working with franchise consultants. So just fill out the quick type form that you should see associated with the video, and we'll hopefully talk with you more soon.